All right, Thursday night, time for our Las Vegas Triathlon Club member spotlight. And tonight we've got a relatively new triathlete, and it's going to be fun to get to know Chris Perkins. So this will be neat. Bob, how's it going tonight?
It's going good. It's going good, John. I'm feeling a little bit better than on Monday, and getting ready. I'm excited about here talking to Chris and getting to know him better because I don't know him very well myself.
Yeah, no, I love getting to know new members this way, and I saw Chris at our last Tri Club event, and so this is going to be fun to hear his story, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see him progress in the sport. How's it going, Chris?
Going outstanding. How are you guys?
Doing good. Well, I'm
Doing
going to
good.
turn it over to Bob to do the official introduction. Bob?
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Um, Chris, it's really good to have you on tonight. And for the folks who are out there, Chris is relatively new to the club. He joined in this season, and his first triathlon was in August of 2020. So he's relatively new to triathlon, but he's already finished third in our most recent um, club triathlon. He's pretty fast on the bike,
Yeah.
and yeah, he had the fastest bike time. But one thing that's interesting about Chris is his first triathlon was an Olympic distance. He went straight into Olympic, jumped in with both feet. He's only been in triathlon for a couple of years, but he's already done with 6 Olympics and several sprints, and he's already pretty fast. So we're looking to see what Chris's training and racing secrets are too.
Mhm.
So and Chris is in the Air Force, and he's a weapons B-52 weapons system officer at Nellis Air Force Base. So thanks for serving, Chris, and also welcome. How you doing
Thank you.
tonight? And I want to start off. What made you get into triathlon in the first place?
So I've always been a pretty competitive person. When I get into something, I kind of go full on that thing.
I can see that.
Before COVID hit, I wasn't doing too much athletic stuff. I would run on occasion, and I maintained my fitness level, did some lifting and all that kind of stuff. But I was mostly into other things like video games and card games and stuff that I would get really into and be really competitive at. But then COVID hit,
Yeah.
and the card game stuff that I was into kind of went out the window because
Yeah, you can't get together in a room with a bunch of people.
Yeah. So I kind of lost that kind of outlet. I was like, okay, well, perfect time to get outdoors. Went to my local bike shop and found out that they had a group ride going on. So I joined them, and I brought my hybrid bike along, and everybody else had their road bikes, and I was able to keep up with them.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
And then that kind of something clicked with me. I was like, okay, this was fun.
I can do
and I
this. I'm
seem okay
fast.
at it. Yeah, so then I bought a road bike. A couple months later, I bought a used triathlon bike and found the nearest triathlon I could go to.
And this was all within the last couple of years. This was all recent. This was
all last summer.
Yeah.
Not last summer, that summer of 2020.
Right, the summer before, yeah.
Spring into summer of 2020. I already knew how to swim, like I could survive in a pool kind of swimming. I wasn't very good at it, but that Race Montana triathlon in Great Falls, Montana had a pool swim. So it worked out perfectly. 500-meter pool swim, and then the rest of it was the Olympic distance ride and run. So it was a perfect event for me to sign up for and cut my teeth on, and had a blast.
And actually, John, I'm gonna steal a little bit of your thunder.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Right now, this has got me real interested in you did your first triathlon. You went and you got your bike. You got a tri bike. It was a pool swim. And how did that feel when you crossed the finish line on that first triathlon? How was that?
It was great. I knew I was going to finish. That wasn't a concern for me, because I had done longer runs prior to that. I was like, I have the endurance. I learned a lot though. The biggest thing wasn't finishing for me. It was all that I learned, all the things that I picked up just after the one race about how to set up my transition area, things to look at on the bike. Cause, on the bike leg, this was not by any means a really good triathlon bike. It was an old Fuji Aloha, had quite a few miles on it, and clip-on aero bars.
Oh.
And one of the aero bars, right after I started the bike, like gave
Slipped.
off on me.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm
Clip-ons
riding
do
on
that.
one aero bar and then one hand on the regular bar, and I did that for the whole ride. It was not comfortable, but I pushed through it, learned a lot from that, and then probably pushed myself a little too hard on the bike, so the run felt hard, and it was pretty hot. But I just learned a whole lot about the sport right there, and I just fell in love immediately.
You know, this is so great, because one thing that I just picked up on is that you used the word learned about, you know, a dozen times here in your description. And that's what the first triathlon is all about. It's great that you're mentioning that. And especially with people, we've got a lot of new members in the club, and it's good that everyone is hearing that you don't have to be an expert, and you don't have to know everything to do your first race. And you learn from your mistakes, you learn from other people's mistakes. So it's like, sounds like you've already picked up on that, and you're learning a whole bunch real quick.
Oh yeah. At this point, I'm kind of going for volume now. It's all about getting as much experience in as I can.
And there's more learning going for volume. You have to learn about nutrition now.
Well, I mean like volume of events.
Oh, okay.
Just trying to get as much of them in as I can right now. Because being in the military, it's like I never know if I'm going to have to deploy at some point, or you know, some event could come up where I'm not going to be able to go to the next triathlon or something like that. Who knows? So I'm just trying to find as many as I can to do. Because the Olympic ones, they don't take a lot out of me. Like, I'm not out of racing for a week or something after doing an Olympic distance. I'll
You're ready to go
recover
the next day,
for a day and then go back into training, and it's relatively easy for me. Now it's relatively easy for me because I'm still pretty young, so I got that benefit.
I'm curious. You're very athletic. Just what did you do? What kind of sports did you do in high school or college, or not college, but the Air Force Academy?
Well, I wish I could say I did any, but I didn't. I did junior ROTC in high school, so I did the kind of stuff that goes along with that. So there was some physical stuff with that, but no sports. Got into the Air Force Academy, and the big thing that consumed me there was the Cadet Honor Guard. So that took up a lot of my time. But I did periodic running and stuff up there, some 5Ks here and there, but I've never really been competitive in sports.
Well, you're a
found
diamond
something that I was great at.
You are a diamond in the rough, because it's obvious that you're real fast. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what you're going to do.
I wish I had gotten into it earlier. That's if I could wish for one thing, it's like, man, I wish I picked this up 10 years ago.
Well, you certainly have a natural draw to this. I mean, I'm impressed hearing you go from card games and video games to triathlon, and then hearing your first race was on this, I guess, clunky hybrid type of bike that
Steel.
It was a triathlon bike.
Oh, it was a triathlon.
It was a steel.
It was just an older
bike.
one.
But now,
it was.
But now you nailed our fastest bike split for the day, and we've got some good bikers in our club, and so that's really impressive to go in that short period of time. So you clearly have a draw to this sport. It's going to be fun to see you as you get more experience, as you go, you're get faster and have some more fun with it as well. So
I'm always having fun with it.
But I don't quite. Tell me the story of how you went from doing the card games and video games to saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go join a bike ride with a group." I mean, what was it? It just you saw them riding, or you just it just had this sort of keen interest towards it?
Well, it was mostly COVID
Mm-hmm.
happening that kind of opened up that opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
almost as a necessity. It was like I got to find something to do.
Okay.
Even in the
I get stir
military,
crazy.
we were having times where it was like, yeah, unless you're flying today or something, stay home because
Oh,
we don't
okay.
want
Yeah.
COVID spreading.
Oh,
So I
geez.
had a lot of extra free time.
Mm.
So, and part of it was, it's something me and my wife could do together. We both had a bike.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's go get these tuned up at the bike shop and then go for some rides. That's where I found out about the riding group.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
And
hey,
yeah.
speaking of that, Chris, how does your wife take to you doing triathlons? Does she like it? Does she support it? Or
Yeah, she's supportive of it. We've got an 18-month-old
oh,
daughter,
cool.
and she takes a lot of time, but thankfully my wife is willing to look after her while I'm training and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's wonderful.
that helps.
That's great. Well, congratulations. 18 months. Yeah, hopefully you're sleeping by now, but
Oh yeah,
maybe
yeah.
not.
She's great.
That's good.
I think she just now put herself to sleep. So
Oh, nice. That's really good. Okay, so to your first race in Montana, which must have been beautiful. Uh, so I'm curious as to how soon after you finished did you say, I enjoyed this and I'm going to sign up for another one?
oh yeah, I was looking for ones right away.
Ah,
But being in that area up there, there's not a lot of options.
yeah, yeah.
Traveling anywhere from Minot, North Dakota is a hassle.
Okay.
So I had to wait until springtime the following year to do another triathlon, which was the Bisman Triathlon. And that one, they didn't have an Olympic available. It was sprint only.
Okay.
So that was why I did that one.
So
How
now
did
And
you
you're,
like
it was my first open water swim as well.
oh, okay. So North
Ooh,
Dakota now. So
was it
open
cold?
water swim.
Uh, no, it wasn't very cold. The water was very comfortable at the time. I
Not
didn't
a
have a
wetsuit.
wetsuit. I didn't have a wetsuit at that time. No.
How did that sprint compare to the Olympic? How'd you like it?
I didn't like it as much. Part of the thing is I like being on the bike for longer. That's where I can close that gap on
Yeah.
people. So the longer I'm on the bike, the better off I am.
What makes you fast on a bike? I'm curious. Is you
I-
very powerful, or do you have a aerodynamic? What do you think your secret is, or what's your edge?
Oh, geez. I think it's just how much I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just love being on the bike.
Yeah.
If I could just, if I didn't have to work, I would ride all the time.
Okay,
maybe not in the summers around here.
right.
I wouldn't ride as much, but I'm relatively flexible as well, so I can get into a really good aerodynamic position, which I think helps me a little bit for the speed. But I've also always had pretty strong legs. I'm a relatively heavy person though. I'm almost 170 pounds, which is a bit of a disadvantage, for the run and that kind of stuff. It's hard for me to get the kind of speed that a lot of these lighter folks can get.
Right.
But I've got a lot of strength in my legs.
Right. You got the motor for the bike.
Yeah. So
Hey, speaking of the summer, the heat here, do you have a trainer? Do you ride indoors at all?
I've got a kicker, direct drive. So I hook up the bike to that, and I usually hop on Zwift and do some of the structured workouts on there. It's been
Very
really, I've been seeing major progress, especially this season on the bike. I've already gained another 25 watts on my FTP.
Wow, that's
So
huge.
I should be sitting at about 250 right now,
Holy
which isn't
cow.
super high. I really like, for me, it feels pretty high because it's the highest I've ever been at, but I still got to get those numbers up. Still chasing. I want that 300. So
Oh,
we'll see.
nice.
Maybe next summer, who knows if I keep it up.
What is it? And if you don't mind me jumping in here, especially you, John, I mean, but what is making you faster on Zwift? Do you have a structured coached workout, or you just how much of your riding, both on the road and on Zwift, is hard hammering, and how much is like easy cruising?
So it kind of depends. Probably during the winter time, it's not as structured because I'm going to be outdoors a lot more, and
Mhm.
also on my road bike as well. So it's hard to stay as structured when I'm doing stuff on the road bike. But during the summer, it's been a whole lot of doing like the sweet spot training stuff that they have on there. So
And what, I'm not familiar with that, with the sweet
that's like,
spot training.
what is it, like 90 to 85 to 95% FTP,
FTP?
like going back and forth. And it's just all about kind of building that endurance while increasing your FTP. And then I'll do some FTP stuff like the 2x15s, 2x20s, basic stuff like that. And then occasionally I'll just hop on for an hour and a half, zone 2 or something like that. Just
Okay.
pedaling at 170 watts and just get comfortable in the aero position for a long period of time, just pushing out the steady watts. And I think that combined with just, taking it easy on the running. I do a lot of zone 2 running because I'm trying to do that 80-20
Right.
kind of stuff. And
that's what I was
helped a lot
wondering
as well.
about on the bike.
Yeah. On the bike, it's not as much of that because I feel like I have a lot more energy on the bike and I'm not worried about getting injured on the bike. I haven't noticed any weird feelings in my legs or anything like that from riding. So I figure if I'm pushing as hard as I am now and I'm not noticing any injury develop on the bike, I probably don't need to go so much towards that 80-20. Whereas when I'm running, if I push too hard too much, I have issues that kind of develop in my knees if I start going too hard, too long. I had patellar tendonitis that summer. I did that Olympic triathlon in Montana.
John, I'm just wondering, and Chris, I'm not sure if you're aware of what John's position is, but he's the UNLV Sports and Athletic Training Director. Or however,
Awesome.
you tell me what your official title is. I keep forgetting.
I'm in the Department of Kinesiology and Nutrition Sciences, but yeah, this is really interesting to hear, Chris, is how knowledgeable you are of these different training routines and really getting into it over a short period of time. I'm curious if you think back to how you trained for your very first event to what you're doing now. Can you compare those?
Oh yeah. Early on, I thought I was Superman. Always every workout was, let's push as hard as I can today. Let's wear myself out. And it wasn't doing me any good. And
That's great to hear.
Yeah, it was a few months after that I found some good resources online. I can't remember exactly what they were at this point, but I read into that and then started doing that 80-20 training and realized, now my knees don't hurt so much.
and I can work out tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'm not dead in the morning when I wake up. So yeah,
John finally got that through my thick skull. So it's good that you picked it up so quickly.
Yeah, and I'm noticing the benefits from it. I'm setting PRs like, every couple months I'm setting like a new run PR, new bike PRs, all that kind of stuff. So it's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
That is a great message for people to hear, is that starting off just trying to go and kill every workout, but then you learn that you don't need to go that hard all the time, and you need to actually build some volume as you progress. So that's a really good message. So that was one of my other questions: is what mistakes have you've talked about learning a lot. I'm curious as if you've looked back and identified these are some key mistakes I've made. Obviously, one is trying to train hard all the time. What anything else that you've picked up on?
Not spending enough time in the pool.
Yeah,
it's been a big thing for me. When I first started out, I hated swimming. And it was like, well, this is a necessity in order to do triathlon, so I guess I have to do it. But over this season, I kind of switched my mindset. Told myself, take it easy in the pool, do your structured workouts. And then this month, I actually started going out to Mel's group over at the Multigen, Tuesday and Thursday morning. And that's been a ton of help, because now I'll spend an hour in the pool and it'll go by in an instant, and I'm having fun and I'm putting in more distance than I ever did before, just by doing those workouts.
That's great.
So it's great.
That is.
Yeah, and surround yourself with other people who are doing that as well, and
it
that's
also,
great.
seeing them there gives me more motivation to, push it a little harder during the times where it's supposed to be a hard, like a 3x100 hard or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, now I see other people around me. I'm like, okay, I gotta push it.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference working out with other people, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Cool.
It does.
And do you have folks that you ride with?
Yeah, I'm on the Air Force cycling team. So I ride with some of those guys. It's not a competitive team by any means. It's more of a
intramural.
I call it like a recruiting thing. It's, getting the Air Force image out there as well.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So I ride with some guys from there, but for the most part, I do most of my training solo. That's something I kind of realized about myself, is I like doing the training in the ways I like doing it. And if there's other people with me, I'm kind of either I have to keep up with them or they have to keep up with me. And I haven't really found somebody at exactly the same level as me where we could train together comfortably.
Well, you're pushing 250 watts. You're not going to find a whole lot of people to ride.
Well, there's another guy on the team with me, on the cycling team with me. He's probably like 300 something in FTP. So he lets me ride with him sometimes. He's a good guy to work out with.
That's fun. That's fun.
What's been your favorite training route for biking?
I like going out to Lake Mead. I start at the parking area, kind of where it turns in there to go down to the beach. And I'll park there and I'll ride all the way out to Colville Bay. Fill up my water, come back. That's a nice solid 50-mile ride.
Yeah, it is. Got some nice hills there too.
Sorry? Got
some nice hills there.
Yeah, it's good. I like that as well. That hill coming up from Colville Bay, I don't like that much. It's a tough one. Yeah, especially when it's hot or when the wind's blowing over those hills. But like especially when you're going downhill on that, it can be a little tough to stay in there.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary as heck going down that hill, because you got those gusts coming from around the hills. Have you done the River Mountain Trail?
Oh yeah, I've done that several times. I'll do it more when it cools off. And I do. I've built myself like a 100-mile ride that I'll do 2 or 3 times a year. Probably usually solo, because I like to kind of do it as fast as I can. But
Chris, I love hearing you just say you do a couple 100 miles. I mean, you're really in the sport over a short period of time, and now you're talking about doing 100-mile rides down at Lake Mead. I mean, that's not easy. I mean, that's really impressive. So, I hope I see it. I hope you see how far you've come in such a short period of time. That's really
and in addition, to see what the potential is right now, because I mean, you just passed over I do 100 miler, cut 2 or 3 times a year. You just passed over that like it was like, I brush my teeth every morning.
So what are you looking to do in the rest of 2022 and 2023?
So I've got obviously the aqua bike I'm going to do this weekend. So that'll be an interesting one. But the next one I've got coming up is Boulder. So I'm going to do my first 70.3.
Oh, nice.
So I'm really looking forward to that one.
When is that, Chris? Boulder?
August 6th, I believe. That weekend.
Cool.
So yeah, that's going to be a whole different thing for me. The swim, luckily, only 400 meters more than an Olympic, so that's going to be nothing new for me. But the longer bike leg and then the half marathon after, that's probably going to be the challenge, is that half marathon after. So I'm looking forward to it though. I mean, I did a pretty hard block of training last month, took a few days off for the 4th of July weekend, and then I've been pushing it hard again for the rest of this month, and taper a little bit as I'm heading up there at the beginning of August.
I'm looking forward to talking with you after Boulder, because with your obvious intelligence, and you learn from everything. I'm curious as to what you're going to learn in your first 70.3. It's going to be very interesting to talk to you whenever you finish that.
I hope I don't learn anything bad about the altitude. That's what I'm hoping.
Yes.
Yeah, Boulder is that is a fun race. I don't know which course they're using now, but it has been one that we've got a lot of local people to head over. I don't know how many are going this year, but that'll be really great. It's how do you find training in the heat though? That's an August race. I mean, this is some of the
Yeah.
hottest weather right now. How are you doing with that?
So I haven't been getting out on the bike as much. I try to on the weekends when I can, but you know, it really just depends on what the weather's like. But I tried running in the heat. Running in the heat's been helpful for me, and I've tried to use that for adapting a little bit, acclimating, hopefully to kind of how my body's going to feel at the altitude. Because I know it's not going to be 115 degrees up
Right.
there,
Right.
but the altitude's going to make a difference. But the big thing for me is making sure I don't go too long outside in this heat, because I know it'll wreck me. I've had days where I push too far outside and
Well,
not enough hydration.
Yeah.
And that's smart that you're figuring that out, because you get beyond a training effect when you go too long in the heat, and it just tears you down, but doesn't give you anything.
So I try and do shorter runs. This past weekend, I did 2 like 2.5 mile threshold runs, split up with, I don't know, like an hour in between or something like that. So I cooled down a little bit in between them. Went out there and set some more PRs.
Yeah.
So it was great after a week of doing zone 2 during the week to go out on the weekend and set some PRs. It's nice.
It's
Very
great.
good. That's smart.
And are you starting to look at planning out 2023?
Not so far. I'm still waiting to kind of see my schedule for next year.
Okay.
Because really a lot of the work schedule is going to be affecting it.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I know there's which one is it? Ironman Texas. I got a buddy of mine on the cycling team who's trying to do Ironman Texas. So if he's going to do that, that could be an opportunity to do one with somebody I know. And then I know there's some earlier ones in California, right?
Oceanside, yeah.
I can't remember.
It's in April,
Oceanside.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that could be a season opener for me.
Okay.
And I definitely want to get out on the ocean. I haven't done an ocean swim yet. So I kind of want to get that experience.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the swim, I've got to recommend Salem. You don't like the swim, it's over in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You can float it in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I believe you. I saw your times on Strava. I was like, ooh, looks like you had a rocket on your back.
Yeah,
that's my
great.
kind of swim right there.
Well, I love the progression, and it's neat that you like the Olympic, but it will be interesting to see if you start liking the 70.3 more so than the Olympic, and then if it sounds like you're also being drawn towards the iron distance event too. So that'll be interesting
someday.
to see how this all goes. Yeah.
I know it just takes a whole lot more training, because what I don't want to do is spend that kind of money on an event and not feel like I'm ready for it.
Good point. Yeah.
That's smart.
Like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to try and podium. I'm probably not going to podium, but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
But if I know I haven't prepared for it, then I know that I can't even really try for that, because I probably won't even finish if I tried
I love it.
for a podium on that.
Well, and I love the confidence, and you've got the backing with the confidence. It's great to see this, and I am just so really impressed with how quickly you got into the sport and how you found the right sport. I mean, this is really going to be really neat to see you,
especially with your discipline.
Training. It's like, this is basically my only hobby right now. Is this. So I wake up in the morning, now I got myself waking up at 5 o'clock or earlier, and I train before my kid wakes up. And then, if I have some time at work, I'll go to the gym and train during the day. So
That's awesome.
Well, Chris,
it's fun.
I'm so glad you found the club and that you're starting to do our events, and it'll be fun to see you on the aqua bike this weekend. And I'm really going to enjoy watching you as you go through these different races and seeing the progression. So, thank you so much for joining us. This is really neat to see, and I love how you really started in a very humble way, and you're
Mhm.
already seeing some great success. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
And you're still humble about it. That's awesome.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I have no illusions about where I'm at right now. But as long as I'm better now than I was, last month and then the month before, I'm
Yeah.
happy.
Well,
So,
and you're clearly a student of the sport, and you're picking up a lot of great information in a real short period of time. So you're
yeah,
taking a really good approach.
I watched what you guys did with your conversation with was it
Ted,
Rick and
oh, Rick and Justin, yeah,
Rick and
Justin?
Justin.
Yeah, that was a really good one. I was like, man, maybe someday I can do what these guys are doing.
they're
Yeah.
inspiring. They really are. That's great.
Yeah,
And
if
you're
I
in the
can put
same
in the work.
category there.
Yep. Yep.
We'll see. We'll see.
No, you are. You're inspiring someone else, and that's great to pass that on. So, Chris, thanks so much for joining us. This has been fun to talk.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
Thanks
appreciate
for
you being
having me.
here. And do me a favor and give your wife some kudos for supporting you and taking care of your 18-month-old and letting you do your training.
Yeah.
So she
Will
deserves that
do.
as well.
Oh yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
thanks for being on, Chris.
Thanks.
All right. Have a good night.